Hello, and welcome back to another Keysight devlog. I know it's been a while since the last one. I got it into my head to do another Keysight 1 update, and I've been working on the Keysight 1 wiki, but we're here now. So, another incredibly boring topic, the log. The too long didn't watch version of this video is that the log now stores everything. It autosaves, and it's easy to navigate. I say this is a boring topic, but I'm weirdly excited about having this set up and working because it's already allowed me to debug things a lot more efficiently than in the past. Speaking of the past, let's go and have a look at what Keysight 1 does in terms of logging. So here we are. I've played back the MIDI file and played a few things just to make sure that it's all populated. Now, I knew even at the time of building the Keysight 1 log that this was bad and not well designed or implemented, but it was just made as fast as possible to allow debugging of MIDI events, because realistically, most people just wanted to look at the log to see why their MIDI device wasn't behaving the way they thought it was going to behave. It's broken into 4 subcategories. We've got notes, which is just note on, note offs, which are sequential, so not very useful. We've got sustain, just for monitoring the sustain pedal, because this tends to spam events. Control is anything like pitch bend, soft pedal, sostenuto, and then other is a replication of any of these messages that appear here, and then any like render setting stuff that gets printed to the log. Now, it's important that it's broken into 4 categories because each of these can only store up to 200 log entries. You can also save the current log to a file. Then if we have a look in here, this is it, just saved to a text file. Again, this is broken into the 4 categories with system up at the top. This makes it really, well, it makes it impossible to sort of have a timeline of what happened in Keysight. Like, this is not useful. In fact, I don't think I've ever been provided a log file and had it be useful in any way. That's largely because A, you need to actually save the thing and then open it and then send it to me, and B, you often want to see the log file when Keysight's crashed, and if it's crashed, you can't save it to a file, which obviously is not great. Just to throw in some foreshadowing, there's a really stupid reason that like this is capped to a certain number of log entries. Each one of these rows of data is like a little menu block, a little UI piece, and there's just a big list of them in this drop-down menu. In fact, if we go and turn off the frame rate limiter and turn on display, these log entries are very performance light, but they're not free. Like if I go to the system tab, we're running at, I don't know, like 700-800. If we go to the log, it drops to like 400 and something, right? And that's just because of displaying these rows of text. Okay, enough looking at past mistakes. Let's have a look over in Keysight 2 and see how everything is just better in every way. First of all, it's a lot cleaner. I don't even know where to start really with like going through all the ways it's better. Look at this though. It even, you know, we get a tooltip if the message is too long. Crazy, the technology on display right now. Let's actually start with what is being logged and how it's being logged. So everything is being logged. That's what's being logged. In addition to the usual timestamp and message, we've also got a category and a source to then be able to filter and look at just stuff that you want to look at. And when I say that everything is being added to the log is automatically populated whenever you click anything. I don't have to build in any extra code to print anything to the log anymore. In Keysight 1, the only things that were printed to the log were things that I specifically said, print this message to the log. And since everything is being logged and it's all in the same list and organized with newer timestamps at the top, you can very easily see a timeline of events that have happened in this Keysight session. Like if I click a bunch of tabs and do stuff, you know, we can go back into the log over here, and now we can see that I've been UI clicking a bunch of these things. When I say that this has already helped me debug things, if I get weird menu behavior, it means that I can go back and see exactly what it is that I clicked and in what order and when, and then hopefully I can replicate that behavior and figure out what's causing bugs. That has already happened multiple times. Okay, the next major improvement on the log, filters. I did open this earlier, but yeah, behold, we can actually just start filtering things in and out. I'm going to hit a debug key just to generate loads of log spam so that we can start actually playing with the filters properly. So if I just mash some things, here we go. Now we have lots of log things. Now, category kind of functions as a priority. So now we're just seeing errors. And then sources, let's get rid of the different colored stuff. Sources are how that message came about. Like, was it a UI click? Was it triggered by automation? In fact, just to explain these automation things, automation actions will go into the log in different sources based on how they were triggered. So if the automation action was triggered by chat control, like via a WebSocket or something, it'll have the web source. Now on to the next exciting thing, autosaving. So by default, Keysight will save the last 20 logs. I don't know, maybe I'll change that. But you no longer need to save every log file yourself. It just works, it just happens. This means that if you do something and then Keysight crashes, there's a pretty good chance it'll show up in the log, depending on when the crash happened. Like if it's on the same frame, then maybe it won't go in the log, but still, you've got more of a chance than Keysight 1 of seeing what actually went wrong. Massive thank you to Heap Underflow for building the Unreal Engine plugin functionality that lets me create these files and like write to them. One thing to note is that the current log file cannot be opened because it opens a file handle and it doesn't close it so that it can dump loads and loads of data into the file as fast as it needs to. So if I try and open this one, this is our current log file, so it'll say that you can't open that. But hey, you can just read the thing in Keysight, right? In fact, let's go and have a look at one of those logs. So, behold, ASCII art and a randomized message. This, I will admit, this was very extra, but I was like watching a stream or something and thought, you know what would be funny? Randomized messages and ASCII art. I've already got like something like 70 of these messages. I just add to them whenever I'm bored. Once again, thanks to Heap, we have operating system and hardware detection, which is huge because so many of the issues in Keysight 1 basically come down to people not having a good enough graphics card to do stuff. And then the whole thing is actually organized and nice to read. You know, it's split up properly. If I open up another one with more messages, I'm actually just going to close Keysight 2 so I can read this log. Okay, I've refreshed Keysight 2, so now let's have a look at that giant log. So another thing about the organization is that anything that is a warning or an error will have these little left-hand column symbols to make it easier to get to them. And then this is organized with older messages at the top. So this is the timeline. If we scroll down, like, this is the most recent thing, because the way that this is working, it is just printing another line of text into a file. It isn't inserting it at the top of the file. Okay, that about covers the actual saving to log. Now, final thing, and I want to talk about this because it's the bit that took the most brain power. How does this actually work? Like, in Keysight 1, we could only have 200 log messages. I can have, you know, if I keep mashing the button, I can have as many as I want. I've done this for a while and nothing bad has happened, so. The reason why this is okay, I'll let you in on a little secret. This scroll box does not exist. It's not real. It's fake. Don't tell anyone. There is, in fact, only 35, or however many it is, rows of UI element to display each log. And then this scroll box is a fabrication that just adds an offset to the array when it is being read by these entries. So when I'm scrolling, in a way, nothing is actually moving. It's just that it's updating the display of all of these UI elements with the relevant one, as if it was scrolling. Getting the on hover scroll wheel capture and the resizing of this like button and clicking and dragging and all of that stuff took a long time, but it's so worth it. Because yeah, we have 12,000 log entries and, you know, I can just whoop I could just scroll through them freely and it's fine. Also, another note on the performance optimization side of things, filtering is also kind of smartly implemented, where if I were to filter this entire, 12,000 entries of log, if I were to filter that as soon as I clicked the button all at once, that would be the mother of all hitches. Like that would take a long time to process. So it processes it over each frame. It does 100 entries per frame because it can do it quickly, but it can't do it infinitely quickly. This also works on, if we do this, it works on the most recent entries first. So you always get the stuff that you want to look at first being filtered first. However, that in itself causes a problem because let's say we're busy filtering and then a new set of messages come in, right? It filters those ones first. It has like an interrupt system. And again, that was like kind of a huge headache to implement. So I just want to say that I did it and that it's cool and that it works. It's also somewhat smart. So if we open up the right-click context menu, wow, crazy technology again. If you disable everything, it immediately filters everything because it's like, you filtered everything. We know that we don't need to display anything. Same as if you enable all the filters, it will instantly just filter everything because it'll just show you the raw, unfiltered array of log entries. And yeah, okay, enough rambling about how smart I am at making a basic log. We're done. That's it. I told you that it was going to be a dull topic, but it is over now. That's the good news. The bad news is that the next video will also probably be quite boring because it's going to be covering this hotkeys menu and talking about how keybinds work for keyboard and gamepad and like rebinding inputs and all of that stuff. And then after hotkeys, it'll probably be the profiles menu, which should be a little bit more exciting. But yeah, that wraps it up for this video. As ever, for more discussion and feedback, please join the Discord linked below. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.